we're officially calling it. Derek's 3 steps to success using AI isn't sexy, but the Chameleon something is. We just need to find out what that something is.
Are talking about AI so hard you just activated my Siri with something you said. My phone just lit up. My phone was talking to you.
I hate Apple.
I think this is where we're starting to see the downstream effects of AI, because it's more than just the self-checkout thing replacing the cashier at the grocery store now.
Welcome to the Soapbox Sessions. Imagine this, an open and free internet where voices are never silenced, where causes aren't shadow banned, and where no one can be deplatformed. It's real, it's here, and it's happening on Nostr. So what exactly is Nostr? It's a worldwide community of everyday people working to decentralize the internet. On Nostr, you can build websites, communities, social networks, apps, and more. One login works everywhere, you own it, and no one can take it away. No more juggling dozens of platforms, chasing audiences, or managing a giant password list. And the cherry on top? Nostr allows for built-in digital payments that can come from anywhere in the world. On Nostr, value flows as freely as ideas. We're hooked on decentralizing the web, and we think you will be too. So now, let's hear from your hosts, Derek Ross and Heather Larson, who are working to grow Nostr one vibe at a time.
The world is on fire, Derek Ross. We have a lot to talk about, I think.
The world is on fire. Isn't there a song about that?
Yeah, I think it's like Billy Joel or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure we actually have songs about it on Wavelake and Fountain, but that's a whole other podcast that we could just play all of those songs and just shut up and call it a day. But no, the world's kind of changing, and I think that's something we need to talk about. That I would say the theme here today is how AI and social media are changing society. So where does that leave us? Why not prepare, lean in, but also be cautiously skeptical, because there are some early horror stories, and I'm thinking let's lean into it. Let's find ethical and healthy ways to deal with our, I guess, online life, social media and AI tools. We talk about these things a lot, but did you see? I sent this to you, so I know you saw it. The replacebyclaude.com, the website. Just to kick it off.
Yeah, that's really interesting, right?
I'm gonna pull mine.
That website's really interesting. It's really cool. So you go there and you enter your name, your identity. You give it information about you, and then it does this deep dive on who you are, where you come from, all about you, and then figures out, well, hey, can this person be replaced by AI? What is their worth in terms of AI?
Yeah.
And it gives you a score based on all it can find about you to see if you can be replaced. And then there's some will say that, well, I don't remember. Was it 44% or 64%? I honestly don't remember.
Mine's 76.
I think I was safe though. Okay.
You're not. I'm not.
Well,
I'm not safe.
I think mine was 64. Then I bet 64. So I'm safe for now. But what was really interesting is it went down through me and my developer relations role and looked at all the things that I do and I've written and I've produced. And it's well, AI can't go build these relationships at conferences and events and in Meet Space. We can't do all that kind of stuff yet. So sure, it can absolutely help facilitate some things. But so I'm safe until we have a Derek robot. Once we have a Derek robot, then it can go into the Meet Space and it can build these relationships. And then I'm fully replaceable. But right now I'm good. I can go to Meet Space and I will meet you in the Meet Space and I will sell you on decentralization and all these freedom tech tools. AI can't do that yet. So I'm good for now.
Lean into the meat. It says I'm almost gone. It gave me a big red number, 76. You're almost gone. It says I'm already a bot. I'm in a vibe mode. I don't know what that means. Public footprint. Job is just text. Really? I'm talking. This isn't text. So it's also doing a deep dive. I gave it my LinkedIn, and so it did a deep dive into it made a comment. OpenClaw can replace a startling amount of the product marketing and content machine here, but the live radio timing, community trust, and actual yoga class human presence keep Heather annoyingly employed. I don't do radio anymore. I do radio detox and I do this, but I have it on my LinkedIn. So it's we've been talking about radio people being replaced the entire time I've been in radio, since 28 years ago when I started doing radio. We were entering the automation era. So Yes, we eventually got replaced.
What I think, though, is really cool is that it writes an identity MD file for you and a soul MD file for you. So if you have an OpenClaw bot, you can take all of this stuff and you can give it to an OpenClaw bot. So you can essentially turn yourself into AI by using your voice and your content. So I could actually do this. And then maybe I would make my Twitter bot and my LinkedIn bot better. Oh, I did read it. I thought it was actually really good. Like the Soul MD. Yeah, like I read it and I was like, you know what? This is me. Yes, I do this. Yes, this sounds like me. Like I thought that it was actually pretty good. And what I want to do is I want to take all of this and put it into some of my AI tools to help me out to get more of my voice.
Like, I would call you a Nostr shill turned DevRel. Like, but what would you call me if you were to write my identity.md file? That's how I would phrase you. What would you call me? Because I would say, because you're my friend, I
would say journalist turned Bitcoin marketer.
Like, here's what it called me. Okay, this is again replaced by Claude.com. It says Heather Larson as a creature, a Phoenix Signal pirate turned open protocol yoga bat, flapping between B2B SaaS launch copy, Bitcoin Nostr evangelism, and nervous system triage with Boston University online earnestness and X radio timing. I went after my college degree, man. But oh my God, an open protocol yoga bat. That's what I am. I'm an open protocol yoga bat.
So you fed yours your LinkedIn. Is that right?
Which is pretty lengthy.
Okay.
Every job I've ever had is on there. Go look. It's open source. Well, it's LinkedIn.
I fed mine. All I did for mine was Derek Ross from Nostr. That's all I did.
Really?
But yeah, and it found my website, I guess, which talks a lot about Nostr and decentralization and DevRel stuff. But so my creature is a purple-pilled conference Nostrich with sysadmin scar tissue, mobile journalist pattern recognition, and the slightly dangerous confidence of a man who has explained open protocols to Chamber of Commerce civilians and then gone back to a Bitcoin events for fun. And I'm sitting there thinking, wait a second. That hits. I like it. What was your vibe? What did your vibe say?
Like your friend who escaped legacy media, learned enough DevOps vocabulary to stop annoying engineers, now teaches yoga, runs on async voice notes, and keeps explaining why platforms are a landlord class for creators. Surprisingly grounded for someone who voluntarily says Nostr Phoenix out loud. It's like it's roasting us, Derek.
Well, yeah. Mine is a complete roast. Listen to this. My vibe is, which I said is more of a roast. It says, like, if your most online friend escaped the Bitcoin conference hallway track and somehow became useful, he will explain Nostr, relays, zaps, AI builders, and digital identity with missionary patience, then casually imply the current social web is a rigged clown car. There's a strong, I give this same practical talk to both nerds and normal people energy. Plus the unmistakable aura of someone who has built side projects because the ecosystem was annoyingly incomplete. But a social rigged clown car like that. The social web is a rigged clown car. I like that. That is good.
Oh my God, these are good.
That is really good.
If you go to your Soul MD, what are your core truths?
I have explained Nostr to enough beginners that I can feel the exact moment their eyes glaze over at relay and recover before losing the room. Right? I'm really good at reading people. So when I'm talking to somebody and I can tell that they don't understand the technical words that I'm saying, boom, I'll go into dumb it down mode and I'll dumb down the tech for them. But it picked that up somehow. It knows me.
It takes about 90 seconds. Oh yeah, mine says I bridge
So,
technical
yeah.
teams and audiences without pretending I'm the smartest engineer in the room. I'm not an engineer. I care about creator ownership, open protocols, and reducing dependence on platforms that extract value. It has ascertained this about me. Legacy media taught me speed, structure, audience instincts, and how to ship under pressure. Well, that's true. Wellness matters to me, but I prefer useful calm over mystical branding sludge. That's true. I fucking hate gimmicky shit in yoga. Hate it. I'm multi-threaded by nature: marketing, journalism, podcasting, community, yoga, and research, which really just means that I worked in radio so long that I always had to have 3 fucking jobs at once. Seriously, because they fire you every 2 or 3 years. So you have to have multiple ways to create income. So I'm really just a work gypsy.
Listen to this one. I have probably said some version of users should own their identity and social graph often enough to be accused of being fine-tuned on myself. Fair.
Oh my god. Oh, this is interesting.
These are good. Like there's every single one of these. I'm like, well, like you said, it's more of a roast. It's more of a roast, but they're really good.
Better than my Claude knows me, better. I work with Claude all the time. It has no memory, right? From day to day, it doesn't remember, from session to session, it doesn't remember anything that you've asked it. But like, how did this thing take my LinkedIn profile with every job I've ever had on it, every legal job anyway, and it's somehow ascertained that my vibe is dry, clear, direct, warm, but not gushy, journalist brain with marketer execution, skeptical of platform capture and corporate fluff, calm delivery, occasional side-eye. It's like you listen to the podcast.
Occasional side-eye. I've seen that side-eye.
Yeah, you were side-eye inducing.
Oh
God,
man.
So style. Holy shoot. Wow.
So I would say go to this website, replaced by Claude, spelled CLAWD, and put in your information if you want to laugh, but maybe you'll learn a couple useful things too, right? Like you might be able to put some of this to work, but everybody needs a good laugh, so check it out.
I'll put it in my Claude, I'll put it in my Shakespeare and my open code, and God, I have a lot of AI tools, but not more than other marketing people. The marketing people
put it in all the tools.
Put it in all the tools, and then it will share my voice better. Confuse it more probably. God, that's just amazing. That's funny. Okay, so now we know our odds of being replaced. That's what we're going to talk about today. In a minute, though. Yes, I wanted to do a follow-up, though, because we talked about Taylor Lorenz, who we like, and she's just put out a new User Mag podcast. The media lied about the social media addiction trial. Because we talked about her work last week. We talked about the Facebook, the Meta trials, and how there's like all these 1,600 lawsuits.
Yeah.
They weren't really bitching about the content, but they were bitching about basically the platforms were so addicting, and they knew this, and they unleashed this technology on kids. And kids are addicted, and now Taylor Lorenz says, oh, wait a minute, let's talk to this expert here. Are we really, quote unquote, addicted to AI and social media? If it's not really possible, because what she's saying is that social media and AI aren't technically substances, so they don't actually hijack your dopamine like an addiction would. So I'm gonna agree and disagree. I'm gonna go into a gray area here, because I worked in the addiction field for 4.5 years in Wichita, Kansas, and so I have seen all of the forms of crazy addiction, right? And like the craziest one to me is gambling addiction. There's no substance in gambling. It's a process addiction, right? It's you're not eating a food, so you're not overeating. You're not using an actual substance. You are addicted to gambling. And this was, I worked in this field well before we had the sports betting that we do on our phones, and now that is like almost everywhere, and especially I live in Arizona, so you see it a lot more here, because I guess there's something about it that's more legal here. I'm not a gambler, never got into it. One of the things I never got addicted to, oddly enough, I preferred substances, but you actually can get addicted to these process addictions, and it's going to have, he gets into, I won't get into the whole study, but like you can use something addictively, and it's like You don't have to detox from gambling addiction, right? You're just going to go to jail. And you're just going to self-exclude from all of the neighborhood casinos, right? That's how you deal with gambling addiction, because that's the result of gambling addiction, right? Is you commit a bunch of financial crimes, you get caught, you go to jail, your life is ruined, and you're probably going to, get out of prison at some point. You continue to self-exclude from casinos. You never get to go to them again, or you shouldn't, but you will, and you'll get caught. It's a bad flywheel to get going, right? So, we're not going to self-exclude ourselves from AI or social media, but it does have a detrimental effect on our behavior, right? The platforms, the legacy media platforms, are designed to be addictive. And then when we talk to people about getting on, any Nostr app, they say, well, it's not addictive. It's not sucking me in. And it's like, yes, that is the whole point. And why I say we can make healthier, more ethical decisions if we're going to use AI, if we're going to consume social media. I think there's a better way, but I think it is addictive still. I think the media is, technically centered on the addiction story. And I think it is also fitting that Taylor Lorenz calls it out and says, hey, wait a minute, this is not how dopamine works. Okay, but you can't have an addictive behavior. Why are you using social media? What does it do for you? And then if there are consequences, negative consequences to using social media or AI, either one, if you are facing negative consequences due to the use of these things and you're still doing it anyway, that's the technical definition of addiction. So it comes down to why are you...
I was going to say, that's the 100% the definition of addiction. I mean, we know that social media is addictive. We know that it's gotten increasingly addictive over the past decade. We can literally see it. We see people, I mean, even us, we're sitting here, watching TV or touching grass, being outside. How many times do we pick up our phone because we're addicted to it? We're so used to doing it. We don't need to do it. I've caught myself being outside and I'm enjoying the weather, and I'm like, hey, I wonder what my phone's doing. I pick it up, and to see something. I want to know if I have any notifications, or I'm watching TV, and as soon as a commercial hits or something, boom, I pull out my phone and I look at it. Or I come out of a movie theater. The first thing I do when I get outside, boom, I pull my phone to see what I missed. We're absolutely addicted to this. We want to know if we're in a hyper-connected world, and if we lose this connectivity, is in our brain to figure out what happened during the time when we were disconnected, and we want to reconnect
and
again.
That disconnection,
I'm not saying it's healthy, but it's kind of unhealthy, this state that we're in. I think ignoring it and saying it doesn't exist is not the way to make it better. We need to recognize that it is an actual problem.
It is a problem. There are bodies in this country that decide how addiction works, how it's diagnosed. One of the things that I someone disagree and agree with as well. Addiction's complicated, and at the same time not complicated, because what it comes down to is you don't want to feel pain, right? That's why you get addicted to something, because to stop doing it causes you pain. To stop drinking alcohol causes you pain. To stop doing opiates causes you pain. You used them in the first place because you had pain. Look at Tiger Woods. He just got a DUI. Turns out it was probably opiates. I'll say allegedly, because I was just reading an article about it. It wasn't alcohol. It was, and what do we know about Tiger Woods? Because I was watching the documentary. We know that he injured his leg, had a bunch of surgeries because he wasn't taking care of it when it was injured. He was golfing when it was fractured, because he was at the height of his career as a golfer, and so now he has to deal with pain. I've seen this over and over again, working in the addiction field, is there was some pain in your life, whether mental or emotional or physical, you subdued it with a substance, or somehow you got into gambling, or you got into social media, you got into AI. It's the same story. If you're doing it to avoid pain, and if it's causing you consequences with your job, your social setup, your family, your friends, then yeah, it's becoming a problem. So I think that's one of the things that Taylor Lorenz is mentioning, that like, oh, this is not the addiction that the media thinks it is. Well, the media doesn't know crap about addiction. I've seen this go on for years. It's a great story to tell people, right? And I think this is a point that she's making. That, oh, it's so addictive. It's so harmful. So is anything else. that we do to excess. We as humans have
Well, that's
trouble.
why I love
moderating.
some of the apps that we're building, Heather, because we're not building addictive apps. Like, we know the problem with legacy social media, so we're building apps literally that don't have addictive metrics into it. And then it's kind of ironic then, because people look at Nostr as having the daily active users in the fall off and retention being horrible, and we're like, well, that's kind of how we're building stuff, though. Like we're literally building apps that are not addictive because we know it's bad. So we really can't complain if retention is bad, because we're not making people addicted, and we're selling people on anti-addiction. So it's a little bit of, six one way, half dozen the other. You can't have it both here.
No, it's a different mindset, because we have no incentive to make the apps addictive. Yes, we want you to use our apps. Like, there's no business model here. Like, we're not making money off of Ditto at this moment in time, first of all. And to make money off of Ditto, we're also not interested in putting up ads, right? Because we want to do the ad model, which ruined Twitter, obviously. Then we have to sell ads, which means we have to...
I still want to see a Twitter app with ads.
You want to see...
I want to see how it does.
You want to see a Nostr app with ads?
A Nostr app, yeah. I'm sorry, yeah. I want to see a Nostr app with ads. I think 100%. I mean, I'm not going to use it. I'm sorry, but I think that every business model should be tried, and no one has tried that. I think someone should try it. See what happens.
People are trying it the opposite way. People are flipping it on its head, like our friends Ian and Mandana selling an attention economy, where, like, for example, if I want to advertise Soapbox Sessions, this podcast that we're on, I would have to pay people for their attention using Bitcoin. And so, like, people...
I like that model, but I think that model has a lot of potential and can be very successful. But I think traditional ad models, I literally hate it. I don't want to use it, but I think that it should be tried just to see how. So we'd have that data point, right? Now we're assuming it would fail, it would crash and burn. But would it though? No one's tried it on Nostr.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but that's the key selling point of Nostr is if, like, I write an article and I share the link with people, and people want to read my article that I wrote and published on Nostr, they're not going to have to do the cookie banner. They're not going to have 5 pop-ups to sign up for my email list or any of that bullshit. They're not going to be told to turn off their ad blocker. They can just read the article. Like the internet the way it was in 1995 when we had cool stuff and blinking.
But you can pay for content, though.
You can.
Like we have apps in the ecosystem, such as fanfares, that can produce gated content behind a paywall, and you could pay for the podcast, you could pay for the article, you could pay for the note, that you could pay for the photo. I think that those type of use cases need to be explored more. They're just in its infancy, I think, in this ecosystem. No one's really I'll say, done it on a large scale yet. We have some people testing it and some people producing little pieces of content, but we haven't had a large creator come in and try it. I think that would be interesting.
That would be funny. I mean, if Taylor Swift did it, good night. Like, it's all over. Everybody.
All right, fine. I'll send her a text. Hold on.
Send it to Travi. Send it to So
you know what? I'm gonna go down a Derek rabbit hole real quick. I was wearing a sweater last week that I really, really liked, and I thought I looked good in it. And my wife comes up to me and says, that sweater? It's from the Travis Kelce collection. And I was like, oh my God, I need to take it off and never wear it again.
What? Just because of that? You liked it?
She bought it for me. It looks great.
Yeah.
I did. It was a joke. I liked it. I looked good in it. I liked it. I'm gonna wear it again. I don't even know who the fuck he is. He plays like foosball or something, right?
Podcast with a nerd, and I'm into sports. I know who all these people are. I watch sports all the time.
I know who he is.
I'm like, okay, I was say, like, you know who he was.
I know who he is.
Husband. He's Taylor's husband. Well, I don't think they're married.
Are they actually married now? I don't pay attention to celebrity shit.
They're getting married soon. I only pay attention to the funny ones, like Christy Nome. It took him a second. we're talking about it.
Oh, man.
My hobby today is consuming Christy Gnome funny content.
Her and her husband recently became celebrities, though, didn't they? That has nothing to do with Nostr and AI and all the fun stuff.
It does, because I was off the podcast. I was bitching to Derek that we need more Christy Gnome memes on Nostr. We just need more normie content. That's the hill I'm gonna die on.
That is true. We do need more normie content. We do need more fun content, more memes. And if that meme is your husband wearing prosthetic parts, then so be it.
Prosthetic balloons.
Oh.
Oh my God, the podcast is going in a weird direction. I'm going to bring it back. Bring it back to the very
bring it back, Heather.
The topic that I wanted to dive back into, now that we've talked about the addiction thing. We've talked about addiction a lot, but we've also talked about this other thing, and it goes back to the world being on fire, everybody being replaced by an AI. And there's good and bad here, so if you're a Gen Z listening and you hate AI, don't tune out just yet. I've got something for you here, because our good old buddy Jack Dorsey has put out a big, manifesto online. It's on his Twitter, and it's on the blog website. It's Jack's manifesto.
It was good.
I think he's got some points here, because he's saying that AI is more than just a productivity hack. Because I think that's where we are, right? I think we're at a place where that's what we're looking at AI as. It's just a productivity hack at this point in time. It probably saves me time. It probably saves me, cognitive disruption, whatever. It helps me do 3 things at once. I'll have the open code going. I'll have the ghosty terminal with Claude Code. I'll have the Claude Cowork going. If I really want to, overtax myself and go a little nuts and get a little addictive with it, I can do those 3 things at once. Because the point is I can, and it makes me more productive. But there's another layer. According to Jack Dorsey, anyway, Block is replacing middle management with AI. Did you see this, Derek?
Yeah, I read the whole article yesterday morning.
No more.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I've worked at places where there were more middle managers than employees, where middle managers had middle managers, and those middle managers had other middle managers, and it's very, very inefficient. But Jack started off this article talking about the Roman Empire and how thousands of years ago they were able to disseminate information from one end of the empire to the other end of the empire just by communicating things up and down the chain, up and down the line, saying that basically that people could manage anywhere between 3 to 8 people, and then those 3 to 8 people would be managed by one person. Then that person would report to another person, and they would manage 3 to 8 people reporting to them, and so forth and so forth. And then eventually they're able to control entire
hierarchy.
Battalions of people. Yeah, absolutely. They built this hierarchical scheme that has been perfected over the past 2 millennia and has been modernized to corporations. And if you ever worked for a large corporation, you absolutely know that this exists. And while at times it seems efficient, it also seems extremely inefficient at other times. So Jack's take is to use AI as an intelligence layer to essentially act as the mechanism that is moving everything up and down the chain, moving things down the line, disseminating information up and down. Absolutely. Well, it acts as the ladder. But the neat thing is they maybe Block is a data company. They have an incredible amount of data. They know what transactions people do in stores and retail. They know what transactions people do on their phones with Cash App. You put all of this data together, and now they have so much financial transactional data that they can use that customer specific data to facilitate all the information and move things around from project to project where it needs to go just by looking at the actual data and doing analytics on it. And they're using intelligence or are going to use intelligence to do that. It's really cool.
I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah.
say I'm the person who crunches our Soapbox data, but because we all crunch the data because we can, because it's super easy now. Like if you're not crunching data to make your decisions at this point in time, given that we have all of this AI stuff at our fingertips, like what are you even doing? Like you're making things up, right? Because and I make sure that the data is good too. Like I babysit it. I make sure it makes sense. I don't just let it tell me things because I definitely argue with my Claude a lot of the time, and it seems to appreciate that, but it doesn't seem to make it smarter. But like why would you not be using some of these things? First of all, because like I can still do like the metrics, but I can do them faster, and also like I'll be honest, I have dyscalculia, so I'm gonna like transpose some numbers at some point. Like I know I'm gonna do it, so like this has prevented me from doing that. And as bad as I am with math and numbers, I can still catch Claude like fudging some things sometimes that just don't even make sense. But it misses some things. So definitely like cleanse your data, make sure it makes sense.
People were still needed, right? Like so, every company is going to be different. Maybe this doesn't work for your company, but Block with their reorganization, they're splitting everybody into 3 separate roles. So there'll be specialists that build specific things. Maybe that's building applications, build tools, and so forth. Then there'll be people that own very specific problems for set periods of time until that problem is fixed. And then these problem solvers will then move on to the next,
that makes more sense.
The next problem. And then there'll be these player coaches, which are people that build and develop people simultaneously. And I was reading that and I'm like, oh, is it like my role in the future? Is it like a DevRel? Like I'm building relationships. I'm going out and working on these edge cases, right? Because you still need people to do that. You still need people to make the human connections and then go back to the engineers and be like, hey AI, hey engineers, do the thing. So I think that this is still the very, very human element of this whole new hierarchy.
I would put you into like specialist who builds things, but then you also saw like I think we could all fit into these roles at different points in time. Like sometimes you're a player coach.
They all sound very similar, or a lot of overlapping, I'll say.
So like the traditional job structure is shifting. In other words, I felt it with my job. I'm sure you felt it as well. I mean, we use AI obviously at Soapbox. We built an AI product, and also we all have the ability to run the metrics through AI. We all create this intelligence layer individually, and as a company we have an intelligence layer as well. And like Alex has his, you have yours, I have mine, for our different functions that we do in this company. But we're different. We're not like Block, right? Like Block is a major corporation with many arms, and then we're just Soapbox. We're like a mom and pop baby startup that does probably a lot more R&D than anything else, which is why we have a lot of freaking data.
I think for a massive company, this makes sense to do it. I mean, for a small company, it makes sense for reasons because you're small, you don't have the manpower, the human power. But then for a large company, it makes even more sense because in large corporations, a lot of time to do things, you have to wait for approval. You have to wait for PRs. You have to wait for, you have to wait for sign off on things. But you have to wait for studies to be done. But if you could have an intelligence layer that just goes out there and says, hey, we noticed a problem over here in Section A. Here's all the different data points that prove that Section A has a problem. Here's all the places you need to go to fix it. Just go do it. And then you essentially assemble and assign the teams. They go out and do the work. They don't have to wait for 4 different managers to approve the work to get done. It just, you had the intelligence layer essentially do all that approval for you in a much more efficient way. So it sounds like the company structure should be much more efficient and be able to get things done faster with less like corporate red tape.
I think this is where like we're starting to see the downstream effects of AI, because it's more than just like the self-checkout thing replacing the cashier at the grocery store now. It's not only just that, tit for tat, it's replacing humans. It's more like it is augmenting your job. It might be improving your job, but it's also changing your job and changing your role to where, hey, Heather, if you don't like working for hours on metrics, you don't have to do that. Like, oh God, do you know how horrific of a job that was at a marketing agency to do metrics for clients and how freaking boring that is and how time consuming that is? Because, you gotta do the metrics and then you gotta make sense.
Yeah.
You gotta, like, make a deck with recommendations. Like that is a whole operation. It's
Now
like,
your
I don't have to
robot
spend the
can do it.
now my robot does it for me, so I don't have to actually work with the numbers, and that's great for me. But it's also like, okay, so if I have all this AI at my disposal, then maybe I look at my job and the efficiency of it, and I'm not doing dumb manual labor anymore, and I'm not doing things that take time. Maybe I'm more of a builder, maybe I'm more of a problem solver, and maybe I'm more of a player coach. Maybe I'm developing people, and maybe I'm helping develop talent, and I have more of a human being role, than I have a number crunching role, or it can help me with my copywriting. I mean, I say that loosely because sometimes it writes really bad copy, but it can save me time because it will outline something for me at least, and then I'm like, okay, I've got a skeleton of what I want to write, or it gives me ideas, and I go, your ideas suck, mine are better, thanks. Glad we had this talk, and but it is a helper and a time saver, and also if I can get it to do the things I don't want to do, like your bot posts on Twitter for you, you don't want to do that, it's recycling.
I don't do it.
Yeah, but it's taking content that you wrote at the place you like, Nostr, and it's reposting it to the place you don't like.
Let me read something. It posted something on its own today, and it told me it did it. I didn't tell it to do this. It says this morning at 10 a.m. it messaged me. It says, April Fools, we're shutting down Nostr. And then the next line, you can't. It's a protocol. I didn't tell it to do that. It did it on its own.
April Fool's jokes. That's great.
It probably saw me talking about April Fool's jokes on Nostr, and then it made its own April Fool's joke. Yeah, but I guess I can see it's like, hey, Derek mentioned an April Fool's joke, so I'm gonna make one. I guess, but yeah, I see your point. Yeah, I see your point.
So that's a win. If it works for you, it works for you. If you get value out of that, then great. So I just think that the shifting job role is like, okay, if you want to be a middle manager when you grow up, that's probably not going to happen, or it will. But
yeah, that job is going away. That job's going away.
So then the question becomes, how do you become? I don't know. Indispensable is probably the wrong. How do you become like a chameleon?
Well,
how do you become flexible?
We've talked about this on the show before, though. It's actually, we're going to rebrand Derek's 3 C's to how to be a chameleon. We've talked about this. We said you have to have critical thinking, you have to have creativity, and you have to have communication skills. Well, those 3 things together will make you successful in the AI future.
Have we had
chameleon
jobs?
Skills, we'll start calling it.
Is AI waking me up a little bit? Because have we had jobs in the past where we've just done crap work and we've been asleep and we've lost
repetitive shit?
Because now I feel like
100%. I will tell you, I loved my old job. I was there for 16 years. I absolutely loved it. It was a great place to work, but I did the same thing all of the time. Every day, and
you could tell
I felt like I was losing my creativity in my critical thinking, unless there was like a major problem I had to fix. But generally speaking, I wasn't allowed to be creative. I still had to have good communication skills. But when it came to critical thinking and creativity, didn't really happen every single day. But now with AI, in my new role, I have to have these skills, and I have to use them every single day. Where before it was almost like a novelty.
Yeah, jobs have been maybe a little formulaic, or maybe we get comfortable in a job and we don't change because you get into a cycle where on Mondays you do this, on Tuesdays you do this. I'm in that cycle, right? The last day of the month was yesterday, so today I can go do all the metrics for all of the things, and I'm all about that. And I'm like, oh, this doesn't have to be a huge process now, because I'll feed Claude a bunch of CSVs and be like, tell me what you got, and then I'll evaluate it and
do the thing.
And then I'll move the fuck on. And it doesn't have to be this big time-sucking activity. And so it's like, okay, well then that frees the brain up too, because then I can come up with new ideas, because my brain isn't constantly churning numbers or social posts or copy or whatever kind of things. Or it's like you get caught in, because you do them and you do them well as a human being, and then that becomes your job, and it kind of, you get pigeonholed there, and then it gets hard to try new things because you still got to do all this work. Now you have the bot do like the work that you're maybe good at, or maybe it augments it for you, and then you go, okay, well, what do I do now that my brain's a little fresh? Because I think I got a little burned out for a while, right? Because there were too many notifications.
Well,
on the phone,
that's
too much AI.
that's
like,
the
I admit that I got burned
that's
out.
the path of that's the path of the honeymoon phase, right? Everything is new
Right.
and exciting, and you dive
It's
into
so
it,
weird.
and you love it for a while, and it's super exciting. But then, sure, maybe you kind
Then
of
there's
need
too
to
much.
detox from it.
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
You know
I
what I
obsess
did?
over things, over technology. I obsess over things I become passionate about, and
Yeah.
then I go like
I
balls
see
to the
that.
wall with it, and I love it.
And then you're like,
And then sometimes I'm just like, okay, listen, I've been doing this nonstop for how many days, hours, weeks, whatever. I need a break. I need to go touch my grass, touch some water, get on a boat, and then I do it.
yeah, see
I
the
think
family.
that everybody needs to do that. Like
I think so.
visit my
You know,
family.
we-
No,
yeah.
everybody
Oh, yeah,
needs to do these things. We need to step away from the tech and have less screen times. And
well, you know what I did?
I'm still under the argument, Heather, that in the grand scheme of things, AI is going to do this for us. I really think AI is going to allow us to touch more grass.
I realized, I don't know, like a month or so ago, I was like, I am really burned out, and I deleted all of the messaging apps off of my phone and turned on notifications. I started turning off my phone when I would leave the house. So cause I'm like, I want my phone in case I like see an accident or so. I don't know.
I couldn't do that.
No, but I would start turning my phone off when I went out at night, and I would just turn the phone off. So I'd have this brick in my bag, right? And I'd just be like, this is cool. And then like, apparently I missed a text message from my family one night, and I didn't know that they texted me while I turned my phone off. And then the next morning they start texting me again, and I was out on the golf course, and I didn't want to talk to them. Love them, but I didn't want to talk to them while I was at the golf course because I was taking a golf lesson. And so then they were like panicking, and so then suddenly I'm getting like texts and calls because I hadn't answered in 12 hours. I didn't receive the first text, and so like they were all upset that I'd gone 12 hours without talking to them, Derek. They thought I was dead. So you know what they did? They came to my house. They came into
a wellness check.
Me. Yeah, they did a welfare check, and they're like, she's not home. And so then my cousin sends in big guns. She sends in my nephew. Auntie, are you okay? Yes, son. I'm coming. I'm at the golf course. Oh, okay. You know, because she knows I'll answer the kids. So my family was fully freaked out.
Yeah, this happened to my sister recently.
You can't.
She and her friend. Well, her and her friend were on vacation in Costa Rica, and I don't remember how many hours it was, but she didn't get back to a text from my parents, and then my parents like texted like my other sisters and was like, hey, have you heard from Stephanie? And no. And then all of a sudden, like, everyone's texting my sister's staff and calling her, and like then she gets back to her phone like yeah, sure, after like 12 hours, and she's like, what the fuck? Like
yeah, because in my mind, I'd missed the first text the night before, so I was like, you just texted me an hour ago. Why are you coming unglued? Then their house. I didn't know they went to my house because I did not check my phone and check all the messages until I was done golfing, and then my cousin was like, you need to check your phone. We went. You had a package delivered here. We took it. It's in your living room. I was like, oh my god, you went to my house.
I don't know if I could do that. Like, I don't know if I could do that. What if somebody is bearish on Nostr and they need me to give them the Pro Vita?
You have young kids. Like your kids are under 18, so like, you don't get to really turn off your phone in that situation. Like, dad has to be available.
No.
Yeah.
100%. Like, my son, I don't think he left. I'm recording the podcast, but he wanted to go somewhere earlier, and like, yeah, like I have the phone, and I always have it on me when the kids aren't here, or my wife's not here. Like, sure, I want to make sure they're okay.
Yeah, mine are all adults, but they still call me like if they need something. Like, or my niece who is bossy, like her mother, she'll call me. And one day it was raining, which is a big deal here in the desert, and the streets were flooded.
Well, yeah, that's like you have a celebration when that happens,
she had
right?
To call me. No, she called me. She was. You need to stay home. You can't go out. I was, excuse me, 23-year-old. Yeah, it's raining. The streets are flooding. You need to stay home. She did not want me to go out and probably drown. Auntie doesn't know. This kid doesn't understand that I lived in like Kansas. There were tornadoes and floods and all kinds of things. But no, they freak out here so much when the weather changes. Like, Auntie, you can't leave the house. You can't go out. The streets are flooded.
All right, Heather. I'm going to nerd snipe you. I just thought of something. And I know that you built something similar to it, but it's been a long time since you've built something. You need to build some type of detox app on Nostr. Some type of
detox people?
digital detox app. And that sounds like an oxymoron because we're using digital to detox from digital. But I think you can figure this out. I can think that you can figure it out. Maybe it is.
So he believes in folks.
Well, I'm thinking outside the box here. Now,
Like,
what if it
sets it
tracks your how? Well, what if it tracks how active you have been or haven't been on Nostr, right?
Is that like my iPhone?
And so you now have a goal. Yeah, your digital well-being,
What do
Google
you
calls
call
it. I
that
assume
thing?
iOS
It
calls
tells
it
me
the
how
same
much
thing.
Screen time.
So it's a away from Nostr
You've
tracker.
over-Nostred. You overdid it today on Nostr. You shared too many Kirsty Gnome memes, Heather. You need to go touch grass.
You've posted on Nostr too many times.
Too much.
30 days consecutively you posted on Nostr. You now need to take 3 days off to digitally detox. Something fun like that.
The Say Less app. Heather, you've overdone it. You've overposted. You talk too much about radio detox and soapbox sessions. Like, shut up. It should just stop working. It should be like a digital lockbox.
No, I like that. I like it. Call it Say Less. And if you have a streak of like 7 days or 2 weeks or 30 days, whatever you come up with, then you'd be like, okay, clearly you need to touch grass for a little bit. Say less. And you get this notification. And it's like, yo, you need to say less.
Who Nostrs more? Who posts more shit on Nostr? Me or you? Who's worse? That's the app we need to analyze our NPubs and say who posts way too much and replies.
Hey, you could gamify that.
Who's worse, Derek or?
And then you could. You could gamify it, and you could assign badges then to people for winning awards as being, more addicted or less addicted and so forth. Who's worse at these different feats?
Ditto has badges.
Well, Ditto's bringing it back, man. We are bringing back. It's actually it's a third renaissance of badges. The first Nostr renaissance of badges was 3 years ago, almost to the day.
Oh my God.
And then about a year and a half later, Sir Sleepy said, hey, we need more badges. And Sir Sleepy just started blowing badges up all over the place. And that was the second renaissance. And then badges died off. But Ditto is making badges fun again, or for the first time, and starting this renaissance. Well, we have badges or first-class citizens in the app. You can create badges. You can accept badges. You can view badges. You can earn badges.
I gave you badges.
It's actually really cool. You did. You did something that broke my notifications when you gave me a badge, too.
I am such a good bug finder. Did you guys fix that bug that I found? Because I broke it yesterday.
Yes, Alex fixed it. Yes. You literally broke my Ditto to where for like 2 hours, I would see the notification dot, and I'm like, notification. And I'd click on it, and I'm like, no! And then the app would crash. And then I'd be in the app 5 minutes later. Hey, I have a notification. Click on the dot. No! I did this so many fucking times. I was like, I knew it was broken for hours, but I kept clicking on it.
Someday when the world comes to Nostr, great, I have something in my eye. But someday when the world comes to Nostr, and we have the history of Nostr and how it came to be, it's going to be like that girl, that Heather Larson chick, that makes songs longer girl. She's the reason why everything works, because she broke it off first.
She found the bugs. Well, she found the bugs.
I have to take my contact lens out on the podcast.
Oh, we're also in the Ditto user group, which if you're a Ditto user and you want to help shape the future of Ditto, slide into my DMs and I'll slide right back and I'll get you an invite to the Ditto user group.
Oh my God.
We have
How
about
many times I've heard this?
I don't know. I know
respond to those DMs.
we have several people in there. There's dozens of us. Actually, there's probably about 24 people in there. We're like 24 users in this user group, and everybody that's in the user group will get a badge for contributing to making Ditto great again. So
I made some cool badge. I made a badge that said that you and I are pains in Alex Gleason's ass. I made you a badge.
I think that badge is accurate.
That's the one.
100%.
Broke the Nostr. And then I made a
well,
badge.
Yeah, you broke the Nostr when you made that one.
I would look, but I can't see now because I something happened to my eye, but I made a badge. You're the Soapbox Sessions host. You're a pain in Alex's ass. What else did I give you? I can't remember now.
We should make badges. We should make badges for Soapbox Sessions listeners.
Yes, that's a lot of badges.
Yeah, we should.
Can we? But make it easy so that I can give it to like all of the listeners who want one at once. Like that's the one thing that's always been missing from badges is that they're very manual labor. So how can I send a mass amount of badges at once? Because I used to make them for Wrigley. Every time we had a block party, I would make a badge, and I think I did that a few times. And I was like, God, this is laborious because I would say everybody who replies to this post will get a badge, and it was so hard to go through on Nostr. It was a lot of like back and forth. It was a lot of back paging to go through and make sure I didn't miss a single person. So there's got to be an easier way to award badges to the masses, especially in this age of AI where I can do anything in like 30 seconds or 1 minute with my Claude code. Like, I just need to award a mass. Well,
it looks like we have the user interface for that. So you can go down through and click on people and just start adding them. Okay, yeah, so you can do this. Yeah.
Ooh. Cool. It's just got to be easy. Like, that's the best part about Nostr is we just keep making it. Like, if you don't like something in Ditto and you want us to make it easier, that's what Ditto is all about. Or just do it yourself if you know how, because you can do it with Shakespeare. Just remix the hell out of it. Give it whatever feature you want. Like, who else makes a social media app that can do all of the things that Ditto does and then says, hey, by the way, you're kind of autonomous here. You can, make your own features too. With our other product, that's actually a truly open piece of AI. Like, who else does this? And it doesn't charge you money. It's because, again, Nostr is a cost-free...
Nostr is the embodiment of free and open source protocols and software. So, yeah, there's not really people that charge you for doing a lot of things. Now, there are people that can charge you, and that's beautiful, too, because they have the option to if they want to.
You have the choice. You can send people your money if you want to, or you can just be on Nostr totally for free and never pay a single sat, dime, whatever. And you'll probably receive some money, but you never have to give up your money. Where it's like I did a cost breakdown the other day of like, what do you have to pay to use all of the legacy social media apps? And it's like just to be seen on Twitter, you got to pay like $3 or $8 a month, right? And then like just to like get seen on LinkedIn, it's probably about $40 a month. So like, who's paying for this? So if you're looking for a job,
they do have a cost, right? You have to pay. Yeah. That's insane
for most of them.
Well, actually, Heather, maybe it's worth it if you are actually looking for a job, right? Like, is that when it becomes viable?
Well, what if you're unemployed and you don't have any money coming in, and maybe you're like desperate to find a job? That's insulting that you would have to pay $40 a month to be seen. I think that's
to pay to play at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. The more you pay on LinkedIn, the more features you get. Like, I think it goes up to like some obscene amount a month. But we know it's overpriced. We know LinkedIn's overpriced. Like, how many scammers are there on LinkedIn? Not that it doesn't happen on other platforms, but I mean, LinkedIn is scammy as hell. Like, it's not helping you in this day and age when you can use your Claude bot to find you jobs. I know somebody who's done that, who's actually applied.
Yeah, I had a scammer. I had a scammer try to recruit me on LinkedIn. They sent me a LinkedIn email telling me that they were starting, I don't remember the name of it, some AI platform, and they needed me to be on their platform. And I was curious, and I went and looked at it. They literally just want people to say yes So then they could say, hey, all these people are on this platform to have using AI to find people work and stuff like that. And I was looking down through it, and I thought it was really, really, really scammy. And I was like, denied.
Scams around that.
Denied.
Yeah. I get text messages with like images attached to like.
I mean, scams exist everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere, and it's gonna just be worse now because there's the bots to do it are more accessible. But we've been getting spammed by bots for job searches for a long time. Like it's nothing new. Like it's just they have new ways to do it now. That's the shitty part. It's for the people who are desperate for whatever it is. You know, you're just gonna have to be really discerning about whatever comes through. Really discerning about information, for sure. It's a time like you can't outsource your thinking to AI. You still have to critically think. Which you mentioned.
That's one of the chameleon steps.
We're calling it the chameleon thing now. You know, what is it again? Critical thinking, creativity. What's the other one?
Critical thinking, creativity.
Creativity.
It's another C. Communicate. You don't have good communication. You can't. Yeah, you have to be able to communicate.
Okay, there we go. Critical thinking, creativity, communication. Yes.
But we need to think of something fun like the chameleon. What the chameleon program? The chameleon.
Well, put it through AI. The chameleon steps. So 3 C's.
Yeah.
Wasn't exciting enough.
Saying that the 3 C's isn't fun, but the chameleon effect, the chameleon steps. I don't know. We'll put it through AI, and next week we'll tell you what we're officially calling it. Derek's 3 steps to success using AI isn't sexy, but the chameleon something is. We just need to find out what that something is.
Are talking about AI so hard you just activated my Siri with something you said.
Oh no.
My phone.
I hate it. I hate Apple.
I couldn't see what it said because I took one contact out a couple minutes ago, so I can't read it. I can see.
No, I'm so sorry to do that. I'm so sorry to do that to you and to myself. Like I hate Apple. Like what did I do to deserve this?
Apple, and I love Apple. I've been an Apple customer for 21 years, but Apple has stopped. When did Apple stop innovating? Like, when was truly the end of it? Because all I've gotten this year is liquid glass, and I'm not excited about liquid glass and Apple Intelligence.
Didn't Johnny Ive, like,
when he quit?
Well, didn't Johnny Ive, like, step down or do something years ago? I don't know.
Yeah, that was probably it.
Well, Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence is based off of Gemini.
Oh, yeah, that's why it sucks. But like Steve Jobs is rolling over in his grave because this was the most innovative stuff years ago, and like it's just little things that Apple could do that it won't do. That it's a lazy trillionaire, right? Because you know I like Apple TV.
A lazy trillionaire.
It's a lazy trillionaire. I love Apple TV. I'll die on this hill because Apple TV shows are actually very good. Most of them are some of the best things I've watched on TV, and I'm almost purely an Apple TV and HBO girl. But you know what Apple missed the boat on this? Because think about it. Like I have an iPad, and a MacBook, and an iPhone. And it will send me push notifications about shows. Okay, you could just put that on my Apple iCal so that I know that my show is debuting or whatever. But Apple also does sports, right? With MLS, it knows I like Inter Miami, and that's my team because
like Marmot,
like Marmot. I don't know what Marmot does, but no,
Apple has the Marmot protocol. The Marmot protocol uses MLS.
No, I'm talking about Major League Soccer, you non-sport.
I know you're talking about soccer. I know you're talking about soccer, but we've talked about MLS on the show. It's just a different kind of MLS, Heather.
Different. No, I'm talking about soccer. So like, I like Inter Miami, and Apple.
I love soccer. I used to play soccer.
I know your kid plays soccer, but I want for Apple to grow up and put the Inter Miami games on my fucking iCal. Like, you have the technology, you have Apple TV and Apple Sports and push notifications.
We can
but you
build
can't
him.
Put the games on my calendar. Like, I'm trying to follow all of the sports. I'm trying to follow the Suns. I'm trying to follow the Mercury. I'm trying to follow MLS, the soccer kind, with Inter Miami. I want to know why can't Apple just put the MLS games that I want to follow? Why can't it put it on my calendar? Why is it just a push notification for Apple TV on all my devices?
Well,
the game on my calendar,
do you know why? Because Apple doesn't use Nostr.
You could do it.
If Apple used Nostr, we could have one of our beautiful devs solve this problem.
I could have you with your Plectos calendar app. You could solve this and be like, if there's Nostr TV, which somebody's working on that.
Literally,
like,
open code, Claude, Plectos, and I would solve this.
You could fix my consumption of media for me. It'd be like, Heather doesn't want to miss this thing on Zapstream, so my Plectos calendar will let her know on her phone that she can watch this thing. Because I love following sports. I know the sports is on TV. I'm just bad at remembering which game is on when, and then I got to go to the schedule, and then I need a push notification on the schedule. But like, why can't Apple just put it on my iCal? iCal has never changed in 21 years. It has never improved in 21 years. That's why I call Apple a lazy trillionaire. So yes, I love Apple, but I also recognize that it has a lot of room for improvement. There, are you happy now? I went off on a tangent. Derek and
all I heard was Apple sucks. That's all I heard. Apple sucks.
I'm never gonna Android though, because it's a pain in the ass.
So let's we're about out of time here. Now I want to hit on a couple real quick things from the Nostr verse. We had some major app updates this past week, and we're just gonna say our friends at Amethyst, which is basically just Veeder and his team of open source contributors have put out like eight different releases, I think, over the past week. That's awesome. That means we're innovating and we're fixing bugs. There's some UI changes for videos. You now have the right to disappear and all sorts of new exciting things for that. Wisp, well, yeah, but now like there's a nip for it. Wisp put out all sorts of new updates. Wisp is getting really good. It really is. And Wisp's latest update today is Ditto was renamed to Wisp. If you go to ditto.pub, it says Wisp and it has the Wisp logo.
Today is April Fool's.
The best Wisp update came from Ditto. Yes, God. Today is April Fool's.
And I was so confused.
So that was funny.
I don't have Wisp, so I'm asking this morning, I'm like, why does our logo look like a sperm? And so that, because I don't know what Wisp looks like, because I don't have an answer right now. I was so lost this morning. I was like, what did you...
Listen, okay, the Wisp logo literally does look like a sperm.
It does.
But it's supposed to look like a wisp. A wisp is a...
what does a wisp look like?
I know what a wisp... I mean, and so when I think of Wisp, I think of the bouncy, floating spirit of a night elf that is floating around in a video game.
Well,
that's what I think of a wisp.
What does that even look like? It looks like a
sperm. It literally looks like that. It's a little glowy, floating sperm thing, I guess.
I think he could have gone with the fart emoji. When you type wind.
No. I like the Wisp. I like the Wisp logo actually. I like it a lot.
We love you, UTXO. We love you, UTXO, the webmaster. We love you.
Wisp got a whole bunch of updates because it's in active development, and Ditto got a whole bunch of updates because it's in active development. We shipped a whole bunch of badge updates. We shipped letters over the past week. Letters are actually really cool.
Actually,
I would say check out the letters and send a letter. Yeah, they're cute. They're pretty, really polished UI. Yeah, you know what? You did send me a letter.
See what he's like.
That's just how that goes. That's just how that goes.
My letters. I wrote Morgan a letter and she answered. What you can't answer?
Morgan has wrote me 2 different letters, and in both letters she said I stink. I smell.
I said drink your water, and she's like, I have not been drinking my water. And so
I need to send her a letter back and tell her that she smells. That's not very nice.
We are so
okay, Heather.
These are the people building your
I will send you a letter, Heather. It's just going to be like a... Can you attach audio files to...
No.
To
if
letters?
You make your name too long, it erases it, by the way. That's a bug. If you where you type your name at the bottom, it has to be short or it goes blank. Just so you know. That's something I broke today. Forgot to tell you about. Glad we brought this up.
But we have a whole bunch of other neat little things. So remember back in the day, you used to be able to poke on Facebook. You can now do pokes on Ditto. They're just emoji reactions, but they're emoji reactions to a profile. You did poke me. You did, but didn't you give me the finger?
No, I suggested.
Or isn't the finger? Oh, you suggested it. Okay.
I want it to be a middle finger, so when I poke you get to see this, because that would be like perfect for our friendship. Every time we poke each other, we're just like.
And we another big feature you should check out besides letters and the new badges is the Blobbi. Blobbis are now live on Ditto. So Blobbis are like Tamagotchi Neopets, virtual pets. So you can go play with your pets. And I think that's about it. I mean, tons and tons of bug fixes. Tons of bug fixes and UI enhancements. But check it out. Let us know what you think, and if you want to get in the Doug, slide into my DMs and Derek will dig you, I guess.
Derek will slide into Derek's DMs, get on Ditto, and send him a letter. Make him answer a letter.
Send me a letter. Actually, that's what I should do. If you want to get in the Doug, send me a letter with a formal request.
What was the Doug again?
Doug invites will only be sent via letter.
What is Doug? What is that again? Did you explain this? What is a Doug? Derek?
Yes. A Doug is a no. Ditto. No. Ditto user group.
Ditto user group as a Doug. Okay, is that our little chat on Signal that we invite people to so they can give us feedback? Is that what you were talking about?
It's literally the name of the chat.
It's a very active chat. I look at it once a day because it's like.
It is an active chat.
And so much is going on. Well, that is fantastic,
all right.
Derek Ross. We have things.
Thank you, Heather.
We have to get ready for Vegas, Derek.
We do. Vegas is coming up. NosVegas. We're having speakers. We're having musicians. We're having chain duel. We're having Nostriches. We will see you there
Nostriches. All right,
in a month.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.